Welcome back to the program, guys. Gino Santarosa here from North to South Realty. So you've heard hurricane proof, right? But that's not how real safety works in South Florida. The places that quietly outperform storms share four things in common: elevation, distance from surge paths, real drainage, and code-backed roofs. And on today's episode, I'm gonna show you a simple filter to spot them fast. You'll learn the method I use with clients, the hidden insurance traps most buyers miss, and 5 inland pockets locals love because they stay drier and insured cheaper than the coast. Stay tuned to the end because one Broward Ridge community regularly beats nearby beach zips by thousands on premiums. And I'll also show you guys how to verify it yourself. Now, before I begin the episode, if you can, smash that like button, hit that bell to stay up to date with all my latest episodes, and click subscribe. Let's get right into it. Now, most people shop by price and commute, then they check out the flood zones at the end. That's backwards. Storm risk isn't just wind, guys. In South Florida, your real exposure comes from surge pathways, rainfall flooding, and insurance deductibles that can jump when your roof or openings don't meet their standards. The thing most people miss is this: 2 houses on the same street can have very different risks because of microelevation and drainage routing. Here's the filter that works in Miami Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. First, elevation. Pull your county GIS or property appraiser layers and confirm both lot elevation and finished flooring. I like to see 12 to 20 feet or more in coastal counties and a clear step up from the nearest water body. If a home backs a lake or a canal, check that the pad sits higher than the bank and that there's an obvious overflow route. If you remember nothing else, remember this: height plus an exit path for water beats a pretty lake view every single time. Second, distance from open water and surge pathways. FEMA flood zones are a start, but you also need local storm surge maps and drainage basin maps. The reason this works is pretty simple. Bays, tidal inlets, and long canal runs can push water inland during storms. The shortcut nobody teaches is to trace the open water path, ocean or bay, to your nearest canal or lake to see if your lot sits on that highway. If it does, you want more elevation and better drainage. Third, drainage infrastructure. Look for swales at the curb, street inlets that aren't clogged, rear ponds with emergency weirs, and canal connections that move water out, not trap it. Ask the HOA or city if the area has a history of pond overtopping or nuisances with flooding during king tides. Now, you might be thinking, if I'm not coastal, does it really matter? Yes, it does matter. Inland lakes and canals can backflow during heavy rain. That's where most people mess up. They assume not coastal equals safe. Fourth, building code and wind features. Post 2002, Florida building code is a strong baseline, and in Miami Dade, post Andrew code discipline is even tighter. Verify hip roofs over gables, a secondary water barrier under the shingles, impact windows and doors or rated shutters, and brace garage doors. Ask for a wind mitigation report, as I mentioned in my previous episodes, and a 4-point inspection. The reason this matters is insurance. Mitigation credits stack for roof shape, decking nailing, secondary water barrier, and opening protection. Roof age cliffs, often around 10 to 15 years for best pricing, can swing your premium and your deductible exposure. Here's a quick win checklist you can do today. Confirm address, elevation, and finished floor. Trace the nearest open water path, walk the block and photograph inlets and pond weirs, check roof age and shape from street view, and ask an agent like myself for a sample quote with mitigation credits applied. You shouldn't rely on MLS no flood claims. Claims history doesn't equal risk, guys. And don't skip pre-offer inspections. Never do that. You can negotiate roof or clip upgrades when you know your numbers. Once you nail that filter, you'll spot the quiet winners instantly. Let's apply it to West Broward, where inland elevation canal systems and strong codes quietly beat the coast on both water and wind. Hidden gem number 1, West Broward Ridge pockets, Coral Springs, Parkland, and Weston. Here's why this corridor keeps performing when storms roll through. It sits on an inland ridge, generally about 10 to 25 feet or more, and it's buffered from Atlantic surge by both distance and drainage. The C11 and C14 canal systems here, plus city and HOA retention lakes, give water a place to go. The thing most people miss is microtopography inside these neighborhoods. Pads are often set higher than the street, and interior lots can sit a notch above the lake edge. That small setup matters mostly during heavy rain. What you'll find on the ground is concrete block homes from the 1980s through the 2010s. Here, mature canal lake networks act like pressure valves for rainfall. In practice, that means less standing water and faster drawdowns after storms compared to east of I-95 neighborhoods. Now, how do you target the sweet spots? Look west of University Drive and the Sawgrass Expressway. Favor streets that don't dead end into bowl-shaped cul-de-sacs. On a map, pick interior blocks set back from lake bends and away from long canal fetches. On Broward GIS, pull parcel elevation and confirm the finished floor is a step above the bank. Walk the curb lines. Are the inlets open, swales defined, and pond overflow structures visible? That's what drainage that actually works looks like. Insurance is actually where the buyers feel the difference. Quotes in these zips are usually meaningfully lower than comparable square footage east of I-95. Why, you ask? More post-FBC construction, more hip roofs, more impact openings, and roofs that often sit under the 15-year price cliff. With a wind mitigation that shows a hip roof, 8D and 10D nail patterns, a secondary water barrier, and a full opening protection, you stack your credits that bring hurricane deductibles and annual premiums into a saner range. There are trade-offs, of course. HOAs often manage lakes and trees, which is good for risk, but can mean assessments for bank stabilization. Budget for proactive free pruning. Mature oaks and royal palms are beautiful, but branches over a roof or service line increase your claim odds. The quick win here is to choose a slightly smaller lot on a higher pad over a bigger low lot. You'll get the same lifestyle with fewer headaches. One of my past clients moved from East Fort Lauderdale to a hip roof, impact glass home in Weston, and their premium dropped by roughly 1/3. And during a king tide rain week, their streets stayed dry while friends near the Intercoastal posted videos of swamp curbs. That's the ridge, the drainage, and the mitigation credits doing their job. Hidden gem number 2. Before we get into that, if you can, smash that like button, and if you want a copy of my free South Florida Black Book magazine with all the top neighborhoods to invest in, make sure you click on that QR code and input your information and just say interested. Now back to the program. Hidden gem number 2, Miami Dade Inland High Ground. We're talking about Doral, Sweetwater, and Westchester. These locations are where the post-Andrew discipline shows up in both construction and drainage. The Big Y is distance from Biscayne Bay surge, and the neighborhoods platted on pads around 8 to 15 feet or higher with engineered outflow. The thing most people miss here is how many newer homes already have the wind features insurance underwriters want, which keeps quotes more stable than Miami Beach or Brickell. But what you'll see on the ground is 200s to recent concrete blocks, hip-heavy roof lines, reinforced garage doors, and widespread impact windows and doors. Cities in this corridor invested in stormwater. That's the difference. You'll notice curb inlets that actually move water, lakes with redefined overflow structures, and canal tie-ins that don't trap rainfall. It's not just about avoiding surge here, guys. It's about getting water off your street faster when those tropical downpours park over the airport. But let's get into how to target or prioritize communities west of Palmetto, SR 826, and towards Florida's Turnpike. Pull the wind mitigation report, confirm a hip roof, a secondary water barrier, and full opening protection. Ask the seller for the 4-point and roof permit history to verify decking nailing patterns and clip strap ratings. On the flood side, trace your open water pathway. If your nearest canal runs clean to the bay without long constrictions, you want that pad height and visible weirs. But here's the insurance reality. Quotes here typically beat coastal Miami enclaves because of newer roofs and full impact protection. You can often choose a more predictable wind deductible structure, and mitigation credits tend to stack cleanly here. Now let's get into the lifestyle bonus. You're near job centers and the airport here, but you skip the coastal nuances of flooding. If you want a quick win, pick a block that isn't at the end of a long flat runout. Slightly grade and mid-block positioning help drainage do its job. Let's get into hidden gem number 3, Palm Beach Inland Ridge, Wellington, and Royal Palm Beach, the acreage, high pads. The why here is simple. Extensions off the Atlantic coastal ridge put many neighborhoods around 15 to 20 feet or more, well set back from direct ocean surge, and tied into engineered canal systems like C51 and M1. The result here is a nice combo: height distance from surge and designed outflow. What's on the ground here is you'll see a lot of concrete block construction, lots of hip roofs, and a blend of impact retrofits and newer builds with full opening protection. Equestrian and suburban subdivisions here were platted with finished floors that step above adjacent water. The thing most people miss out here is how interior streets often sit a notch higher than canal banks. That small difference is a big deal when rainfall stacks up. But how do you target the keepers? You choose a lot that steps in from the canal bend rather than right on the outside curve. Verified finished floor elevation on the county property appraiser record on nearby ponds. If you can see them, you've got a design pressure valve. Drive the block after a heavy rain if you can. Puddles that clear within hours are a good sign that swales and inlets are doing their job. Insurance angle. Let's get into that for a second. Premiums usually come in lower than barrier islands and the east side Boca del Rey zips. With a wind mitigation that shows a hip roof, proper decking nails, and full opening protection, you'll often see meaningful credits. Newer roofs also soften the bite of wind deductibles. Trade-off alert: some groundwater sensitivity in the parts of the acreage favor the higher pads in areas with recent drainage improvements. Quick win here: if two homes feel similar, take the one with a newer roof and verified secondary water barrier. That inspection line can be worth real money in the end. Hidden gem number 4. Now we circle back across the county line to Southwest Broward, Miramar West, and Pembroke Pines West, which are master planned communities that were built with drainage and wind in mind. The big why is their inland position set back from the intercoastal, with pads typically around 9 to 12 feet or even higher, and canal buffer stormwater designs. Now, after the 2004 to 2005 season, builders leaned into code. You'll see that absolutely everywhere. What you'll find is HOA neighborhoods with impact windows and doors in many homes, reinforced garage doors, and roof lines that skew heavily hip. Streets slope towards inlets, ponds connect to canals, and overflow routes are visible here if you know how to spot them. The game changer nobody talks about here is how consistent the roof and opening protection is across entire phases, which actually makes insurance quoting more predictable. Here's how you pick winners. I would look at phases farthest west near I-75. Walk the block and avoid end-of-bowl cul-de-sacs where the grade funnels inward. Confirm pond to canal overflow paths and make sure street inlets aren't buried underneath landscaping. You should ask the HOA if they've done recent lake bank work. Well-kept edges reduce erosion and nuanced flooding. On the wind side, pull the wind mitigation and check for a secondary water barrier. That single line alone can unlock a strong credit. Let's get into the insurance reality. These neighborhoods often beat East Hollywood and Hallandale on both premium and deductible structures because of uniform mitigation features and newer roofs. And when it comes to lifestyle perks, you have great parks, A-rated schools, and a strong road access without coastal flood headaches. Here's a quick micro tip for you. If you're deciding between two otherwise similar homes, pick the one with fewer overhanging trees and a clear roof permit trail. It's safer and it quotes cleaner with underwriters. Let's get into hidden gem number 5. Let's finish in Northwest Miami-Dade, Miami Lakes, Palm Springs North, and Hialeah Gardens. Quietly resilient because of interior location and elevated pads around 8 to 14 feet with solid municipal drainage. The thing most people miss here is how consistent the grading is block to block. Finished floors are often stepped just above canal edges, and the street swales actually move water. On the ground, you'll see concrete block homes, plenty of hip and low slope roofs, and lots of impact retrofits. The drainage tells the entire story here. Curb inlets at regular intervals, ponds with visible weirs, and canal tie-ins that give stormwater a real exit. Once you nail that, everything else clicks. Less nuances, flooding faster, drawdown after tropical bands, and on and on. But here's how you pick winners. You verify finished floor on county records, stand mid-block rather than at canal bends, and ask for wind mitigation details, decking nailing, clips or straps, and opening protection. Insurance often comes in meaningfully lower than coastal zips like Surfside or Bal Harbour here, and quotes improve again when you add full opening protection. The trade-off? Some roofs are aging into the 15 to 20 year zone, and you should budget a re-roof with a secondary water barrier to unlock credits and stabilize deductibles. Here's your hurricane-safe home playbook, step-by-step buying checklist. Map first risk, FEMA zone, local surge map, and county elevation. In coastal communities, aim for 12 to 20 feet or higher and a clear overflow path to canals. Next is property scan. You should check out the roof age and shape, hip over gable, secondary water barrier, impact openings, braced garage door, drainage test, defined swales, clean street inlets, rear ponds with emergency weirs, and a canal connection that isn't a dead end. Inspection sequence, this is what you should be doing. Order the 4-point and wind mitigation early before final negotiation so you can price roof, clips, or SWR upgrades into your offer. Insurance shopping. Pull at least 3 different quotes, compare wind deductible options, and confirm every mitigation credit is applied. HOA and trees, let's get into that. Ask who maintains lake banks and large canopies. Budget proactive pruning and avoid limbs over the roof. Here's a small little micro tip. Pick the slightly smaller lot, higher pad over the larger low lot, and it'll pay you back every rainy season. In conclusion, if you remember nothing else, safer South Florida living comes from elevation, distance from surge paths, working drainage, and code-backed roofs. Use the 4-point filter. focus on the inland pockets we covered, and stack mitigation credits to keep premiums predictable. If you like this episode, smash that like button, click subscribe, and hit that bell to stay up to date. Please tune in to my next episode here on the screen, and if you want more information or you want a copy of my South Florida Black Book, click on that QR code, input your information, and say interested, and I'll send you a copy. Once again, I'm Gino Santa Rosa from North to South Realty. If you're looking for property here in South Florida, contact me today, 561-871-1889. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day.